The Reparations Committee in Boston has decided that 15 billion is a nice round figure for reparations, and they want the white racist churches in Boston to pay for it. 15 billion is triple, actually 3.5 times, the annual budget of Boston to pay for everything. In other words, this will never happen. In Boston, the task force on reparations has decided that white churches have to step up and pay back the black community for being involved in the transatlantic slave trade. In other words, slaves were unloaded in Boston during the slave trade. And the churches got together and listened to these 10 members from the community who are now asking for, get this, 15 billion from Boston. 15 billion. The guy in charge of that ask is this guy. Let me give you his name.
It looks like Fire Marshal Bowman. Is he related?
He kind of does. For a minute when I pulled the picture, I saw that. Trying to find his name so everybody knows who it is. It's Kevin Peterson. He said, we point to the Christians in Christian love for them to publicly atone for the sins of slavery. We ask them to publicly commit to a process of reparations where they will extend their great wealth, tens of millions, even though it's really billions, to pay us back. And it was sent to 4 churches that were established in the 17th century. Okay? So they want this money now based on the fact that they identified 219 people that were slaves owned by ministers of these churches 400 years ago. Okay? Here's how they want to do it. 15 billion comes in 3 payments. 5 billion in cash, 5 billion in new financial institutions, and 5 million towards addressing racial disparities in education and anti-crime measures. You got that? But the debt must be paid in dollars and must be paid now. It's time for you to wash our feet, he said, talking about allusions to Jesus, in the Bible. We want our reparations, and we want it now. By the way, in case anybody cares, the entire budget for Boston is $4 billion for everything. Education, streets, police, hospitals, emergency services, roads, sewers, the airports, everything. So they want $15 billion, which it would take Boston 100 years to raise, but they want it. When do they want it?
Now.
And this is the guy who demands it now.
So does he actually
look like he's hurting? He doesn't look like he's hurting that badly.
No, not at all.
Nice.
I'm wondering, do they actually think that they're gonna get it? I mean, what are they like? Yeah, we're gonna get this $15 billion.
There's a bunch of cities. I don't know. That's a weird question because like San Francisco talks about it all the time. Mm-hmm. So does Los Angeles, right? Philadelphia's talked about it. As soon as they actually get to the point of deciding how are we going to pay for it, it all stops. There's no extra money. It's not like these cities are rolling in cash. None of them. They're all broke. But whatever's there, they want it all to go to the descendants of black people like you and myself as a self-identifying black brother of yours. And I've been to Boston. I have been to Boston. And I would like my share, please.
I'm completely with you on that. With you.
Would you please sign, I don't know what you like, black person.
We'll get it notarized.
Sort of white person. We'll get
it notarized.
Okay. All right, great. The name of the group that's pushing for this is Prophetic Resistance Boston. You got that? I don't know how many members they have, but they're making a list of what they're going to do with their $15 billion. You go, guys. You go.
I mean, that money is never going to come to them. It's like the waste of time. And who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? Because if you really want to look at the actual history of who was enslaving black people, it was the Democrat Party. When they talk
Oh
about
yeah.
people, yeah, when they talk about the Civil War being against slavery, slavery was just ending slavery was just part of what took place because of the war. The South states, which were Democrats, they didn't want Abraham Lincoln to take away their property. So during that time, when we mentioned, they removed Abraham Lincoln from 10 states from the ballot because they were afraid that he was going to do that. So as a result of him winning, they said, well, we'll just secede from the Union. And Abraham Lincoln said, no, you're not going to do that. So as a result of that, we end up going to Civil War. The Democrats lost the Civil War. We keep saying the North versus the South. No, it was Republicans versus Democrats, and the Democrats lost. They've been upset ever since. That's why they hate the NRA today. That's why they constantly hate the Republican Party today. The Democrat Party created the KKK, and now today they're saying that it's the Republicans that created the KKK, and the Republicans are the racist ones. The Republicans are the ones that don't want black people to have freedom, when it's a total lie. It's always been the Democrat Party. We've seen that. That is the actual history. There's a book that I read called Whites, Blacks, Racist Democrats by Reverend Wayne Perryman. He wrote this book, and he laid out all of the dates on the different things that took place. And one of the things that stuck out to me is that how the Democrats created all of the racism, the Jim Crow laws, and then they turn right around and say, oh, it's the Republicans. They're the ones that did it. It's them. It's them. What a bunch of BS.
Well, you make a very good point, and it's the Democrats that founded the KKK. It's the Democrats that instituted Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Democrats that founded Planned Parenthood. It's the Democrats that fought the registration of blacks. When the slaves were freed, every single Republican voted for it, and every single Democrat voted against it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And the greatest black leader in American history, Martin Luther King, was Republican for a reason.
Yep.
Read his writings. Read what Dr. King said about who stood with the blacks for equal rights, voting rights, housing rights, education rights. White, mostly Jews, Republicans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
but
we've
you know what?
just forgotten our history.
Yep. But the
It
sad
doesn't
thing
seem to
is,
matter.
yeah, the sad thing is the Democrats, they're very conniving, and they've been very successful on getting people to believe that it's the Republican Party. Now, I'm not saying that the Republican Party is peachy. They're all angels. I'm not saying that at all, because there's a lot of them in the Republican Party that have no backbone. They're spineless, right? They're weak in the knee, right? They're always on their knees when it comes to the Democrat Party, but they've convinced a lot of people to support the Democrat Party. And a lot of these people that know how bad the Democrat Party is, they just hate Trump and they hate America more.